What's up, y'all? Shook here, back with another video on the Holy Paladin, doing some 3v3 with Plum on his Death Knight and Sorgal on his enhancement Shaman. These games are from week 4 of the War Within Season 1. This is the gear that I'm rocking. It's the same as the previous videos in this week. Haven't gotten any new pieces or any new sockets. Still missing the gloves, but pretty much every other piece besides trinkets is an epic piece, either the bloody token or conquest pieces. PvP item level is 636. This is the build that I am running. It is Herald of the Sun hero talents, same one that I've been running in all the videos. I did swap out of improved blessing of protection for a couple of these matches. Like I say that I do, anytime there's not a physical damage dealer, it's usually worth taking, just taking this off and picking something else that could be more useful. That's about all I have to say for the build and my gear. Let's get into the games. This first match is against a shadowplay with a Destro Warlock and a Resto Shaman. This is a really popular comp right now. I would say probably the most popular comps are currently Jungle Cleave, which is Hunter, Feral, Healer, typically Priest or Paladin, and then Shadowplay, which is Warlock, Shadow Priest, and a Healer, typically a Resto Shaman or a Holy Paladin. And we've also been seeing a lot of Feral Mage Priest. So really just Feral is super popular right now. Like every match is like either Shadowplay or Feral Druid out of our entire queue session. Those are some of the only things I think we saw. And I think it's going to be even more popular after the reset. I think Shadow Priest is getting a buff, so maybe more Shadow Priest comps. And we might have seen, I think it's coming up after this match actually, we saw a really unique comp with a Shadow Priest. But so this first one, I'm kind of DR'd on CC now. I was trying to get within range of Sorgal for the Tremor Totem, but I wasn't quite in range. I did have to burn Lay on Hands and my Trinket whenever he stunned me. This comp does have a ton of CC. We really just want to disrupt, disrupt the CC chain either with the Team AMS, which you can see we've been using it on Sorgal because they're kind of just pumping damage into him. Sorgal is going to be trying to line here. We are currently kind of tied on mana. I'm going to get feared here, but it's still DR'd, so I'm not super worried about it. I may end up having to burn bubble if they get a full chain here, so they are trying to do damage to me. Everybody's kind of rotting. That's kind of the name of the game when it comes to Shadowplay. Usually this is played with an Affliction Warlock, and you kind of just get it rotted down. He's LOSing his Shaman, so I do go ahead and hodge him. He gets out of it either with his human racial or, yeah, it looks like he didn't have a trinket, so his human racial there. I am going to go over here, run and blind the Shaman. It's going to be a little bit DR'd, but he doesn't have trinket for 40 more seconds. Here comes a little bit of their damage. You can see me kind of dispelling whenever Sorgal gets a bunch of dots on him. He is using Lightning Lasso on Sorgal, so I am going to hodge the Warlock. He can't dispel the Warlock while he's using Lightning Lasso, so he has to choose to either cancel that to dispel his Warlock or just let the cast keep going. Sorgal does go ahead and use his wall here. You're going to see me toss Blessing of Protection out on Sorgal, and I do juke the Warlock there and get precog. The reason I'm using Blessing of Protection right here just to burn these cooldowns is because after it fades, it basically gives damage reduction to the entire team. Gonna LOS for a second and cast Tears Deliverance, and everybody is pretty much getting picked up. I'm gonna hodge the Shaman off of that blind, and we're gonna start getting a lot more pressure here. Warlock's trying to get away. You can see we're kind of just chasing him down. I do kick him on his soul well, and we almost take him down there. We're going to get Link. Couldn't quite get the kill on him. He's using his gateway to run away. I'm just trying to LOS. I don't have bubble anymore, so I have to play a little bit more just scared, like playing the pillar a little bit better. We are winning on mana at this point. They are trying to turn it around now. It looks like the Warlock used his shield wall. You can see Plum uses the team AMS on Sorgal. It breaks almost instantly. We go ahead and use grounding as well. I go ahead and sack Sorgal here. The priest is trying to run at me. I do have Hand of Sacrifice on Sorgal, so I'm not really worried about this fear. I do need to dispel Sorgal because you can see he has all the stacks of, I believe it's called Wither on him, and he also had the priest dots. It looks like we have the Strangulate going, and the Warlock does get away. They also use Power Infusion here, which is another really powerful cooldown for this comp. It looks like they are getting really close to taking Sorgal down. Sadly, my Tears Deliverance did fall here. They Mortal Coil Sorgal, so I can't get the Tremor Totem. Sorgal does kill the Siphene immediately, which is reducing healing taken. I am going to Hodge the Warlock here. I juke with Tears Deliverance because I was worried he was going to lock me. I'm going to run over here and cast it now. Complete the cast. Sorgal has Ascendance rolling. Shaman is pretty much all the way I still have a little bit of mana available. My bubble is coming back up. I was trying to bubble right there, but it wasn't quite back up yet. Sorgal does Tremor me instead. We use the team AMS on Sorgal. You can see they break it instantly. And it looks like the Shaman is using Static Field to kind of peel them off of the Warlock. Again, Sorgal is getting kind of dangerously low. They actually missed the kick there, which was really, really huge. Would have been, I think, game over had they gotten that kick. I am able to kind of pick Sorgal up here a little bit. The Shaman really doesn't have anything left. He's already used Link and everything, so we do take him down. Really tough shadowplay game. I would think we would have kind of the distinct advantage versus this comp, but a lot of times it's just 50-50. They just have so much CC. So here was the match the comp that I was talking about a second ago, which is Shadow Priest, Ret Paladin, Resto Shaman. This was the only comp like this that we saw. So kudos to these guys for running something that's off meta. We didn't see anybody else running anything even similar to this. We do get the Ret Paladin's bubble in the opener. We blast the Shaman off the side. It looks like they want to hit me. I'm not going to swap my beacon just yet because I'm not really worried about them taking me down, especially when I have Divine Protection rolling and I can kind of LOS the Priest and the Shaman. It looks like Sorgal's over there kind of doing the 1v2 with the Shadow Priest, and the Ret Paladin's just kind of running me down. Plum's kind of chasing after the Ret Paladin. I could swap beacon at this point, but I'm just not super worried about it because Plum uses the AMZ. I just have so many ways to kind of get away from these guys that I don't want to have to waste a global if they decide they want to swap back. I'm going to burn my trinket here, and Plum's going to grip him in, get the triple blind. I'm going to go ahead and dispel, and it's going to put that Horrify on me. That's just basically every time I'm dispelling the Shadow Priest dots. We do get Magic Bop and Wall from the Shaman. They get the Double Fear here, which is kind of unfortunate, so I don't want them to connect on me while the Double Fear is rolling. Run behind the pillar, cast Tears Deliverance. I am going to sack Sorgal. That probably means they're going to want to swap to me. So Plum does use the AMS on me. Really, really good AMS. Pretty much saved my bubble there. I would have had to bubble immediately had he not done that. I may still have to bubble, but if I can kind of get away and stabilize, it just depends. I am going to Hodge the Ret down here because they basically can't get to him to dispel. He's kind of chasing me. I want to pull him behind the pillar if I can, where the Shaman can't get to him. You see the Shaman trying to chase down the Ret Paladin. He does get strangulated while he's chasing. Sorgal did get Hodged. I wasn't able to dispel him. We do get the triple blind here. So really, I would want to run up and use Searing Glare there, but I was kind of just in the mode of like picking everybody up and making sure everybody was topped because I knew we were going to win if we just lasted long enough. So really interesting comp by these guys. We didn't. This was the only time we fought them, and this was the only one of these comps that we fought. Everything else was Shadowplay or Jungle Cleave or Feral Mage. So next up, it is another Shadowplay, this time with an Affliction Warlock instead of a Destro Warlock. Priest does get the fear on me, and I get tremor'd out. I'm trying to give Plum the blessing there. I was trying to dispel off his searing glare. I do get silenced here. I'm going to go ahead and wings to pick up Sorgal. We also have his wall rolling. Plum uses AMZ on their opener. It's one of those, like on this map, it's going to be hard to get like full value out of the AMZ. Our grounding does come down. Priest wants to come fear again. I'm going to trinket this one and blind him. Get the full blind on him. He doesn't trinket, unfortunately, which is kind of what I was going for. It looks like they're swapping to Plum. He pops IBF. They proc my Saved by the Light. The Paladin uses his Aura Mastery. Looks like they're trying to just fear Sorgal. Plum also used his anti-magic shell, and they broke it almost instantly. It looks like we gave the Warlock precog, and then he jukes me. We give him precog again, so he's just a juking machine here. But we are getting some decent pressure on this Paladin now. It looks like they're trying to just peel, spamming fears. They don't want the Paladin to have to bubble. He does use his wall there. I go ahead and hodge him. We proc his Saved by the Light. I'm kind of feared into an awkward position here. Sorgal uses one of his defensives. I really need to get around the pillar and cast Tears Deliverance at this point. So I'm going to run over here, cast Tears Deliverance. We're getting super good pressure. Paladin's going for the Searing Glare, which is kind of a weird time to do that. It ends up costing him his bubble, even though he was able to juke with it. It looks like we have pretty much all the pressure. We do strangulate the pally trinkets that strangulate, and at this point, as long as we don't lose on mana, we should be so far ahead that it should be fine. But you never know with these shadowplay comps. They can like turn around matches real easily. Even though they're supposed to be like dot kind of rot classes, they actually have a lot of burst. Like this comp can do quite a bit of burst. There's the wall from Sorgal. Pally's trying to cast Tears Deliverance. You can see Plum kind of trying to stop it. That's kind of our main thing that we want to try and stop. Pally does get a really good Searing Glare there on Plum and Sorgal. I can't really dispel it because of the UA, but we overlap there, unfortunately. I do blind the Shadow Priest on that Mind Control. So this, like later in the match, you can see the Priest starts to Mind Control a lot more, which ends up being a really effective strategy. So instead of blinding that Shadow Priest there, I should have definitely just kicked him. It was just the much better play. He's going to go over here to try and fear me. I am going to use my bubble here. I'm not really worried about them killing me. He does get it off, and the silence does come out. We have Lay on Hand available, and I am able to pick him up. We also have Blessing of Summer coming back. The Warlock does lock me there on the Tears Deliverance cast. I kind of thought I was LOS, but he was within range. I want to go ahead and give Plum the Blessing of Summer so he can be like tossing heals out on us. And you can see the Priest using MC again. I'm going to Hodge him, which again, much better to just kick him instead of wasting Hodge there because the Pally can't dispel him. We didn't have any CC on him. Sorgal gets an Ascendance going here. We do interrupt the Warlock. Pally gets gripped in. Unfortunately, he got gripped as soon as the interrupt was going out, so he got precog. We are winning on mana at this point, so again, as long as I'm just kind of playing as efficiently as possible, it should be a win if we don't get burst down. We have wings coming up in 4 seconds, so kind of their next go can be countered with wings. Our grounding does come down. Here's their power infusion, so this is going to be kind of their go on Sorgal. I do want to go ahead and use wings as soon as I'm out of this silence. I get the wings rolling. I'm kind of moving over here to this little pillar. You can see the Warlock used his Night Elf racial. I have everybody topped at this point. Hodge the Shadow Priest again because we got a cross CC there, and then I go ahead and kick the Mind Control. That time, there's the second Blessing of Protection. So Pally has no bubble, no Blessing of Protection. He's actually a kill target at this point too. Sadly, Sorgal pre-triggered that, and I burned my trinket, so that was kind of a big blunder. We weren't in communications for this match, so kind of the sum of the stuff you're seeing is like the overlap is just the fact that we weren't in Discord. So right here they make a quick swap to Plum pretty much. I'm going to cast my Blessing of Winter, and again we're just winning on mana at this point, so as long as I can keep us alive we should be able to win. I hodged the priest there, he trinkets immediately, had blind available, probably should have blinded off that. I think that was definitely the play. It looks like the Pally's kind of running over here to get away. I am using that Blessing of Protection, not because they're doing physical damage, but just to get the damage reduction. Kind of trying to juke here to bait out the Warlock kick, but it looks like he didn't even have it, so I just didn't notice it on the bar down there. I do go ahead and sack Sorgal, so he should be okay. I'm going to use Divine Toll. I get silenced off that. It looks like we're going to go ahead and take him down right here. So crazy long match. Actually got into for threes a higher dampening. Obviously not, twos you get into crazy dampening, but for threes that's actually pretty high. Just kind of happens with these shadow play teams. So right here is a jungle cleave. This is super popular, and I think it's going to be even more popular once the changes come out. I think Beastmaster is getting a bit of a buff. We get the triple blind here and the kind of blind on the pets. Plum is going to strangulate the Shaman. I'm going to hodge. Even though it's DR'd, it doesn't really matter as long as we can get like a little bit of value off of it, because we got the capstone into the strang, into the hodge, into the, I could have cast Searing Glare there, but I think I was running Spreading the Word for this one just because I wanted the physical damage reduction. We were kind of having trouble against the feral teams. They just do so much damage. It looks like I'm going to use Hand of Sacrifice right here. Even though he got the trap, Plum is going to be taking reduced damage because I got that sack on him. Plum is also running Team AMS to try and stop some of the traps. Here comes the Hex. Sorgal can dispel these hexes off of me. I was trying to get in range so they can kind of stop the clones as well. It's kind of like one of those things. I want to make it as awkward as possible for them to get traps and stuff like that. I'm trying to... I got silenced here, and he's going to probably fling the trap out here soon, yeah. So there comes the trap. I am going to burn my trinket on that one. He does get the Holy Lock. I was actually going for the juke there, but he did it before I juked. Got Tears Deliverance off, so we should be able to stabilize here for a second. The Shaman pulls me to them, which is kind of good. It's kind of what we want. It looks like they're going for the clone. Shaman drops the grounding totem, so I'm going to hold off on the hodge. There's the Strangulate. Hunter trapped off the Thunderstorm, so that was kind of a good trap. But yeah, this was kind of a, I don't know, one of the weaker jungle teams that we fought. I think the comp is just better with the priest, just much better. And that is it for this video. I hope y'all enjoyed these games. If you are new here, be sure to subscribe, drop a like, helps me out a ton, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.